This is the before and this is the after. This tool truly takes my breath away. Hey there, welcome back. Today is part 2 of the Color Grade Like a Pro tutorial. Today we are going to have a look at real examples of how we can use the calibration tool to modify our images. And since we have quite a lot of examples, I would say let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into Lightroom. Alright, so here we are in Lightroom with a bunch of photos that we will color correct today with the calibration tool. Let's perhaps start with this one. This is a shot that I made when I was in New York. A classic skyscraper kind of photo. A lot of lights going on, and here the subject of this photo, it's really the lights. And I want to use the calibration tool to make them pop a little bit more and to have less distraction inside this photo. In order to do that, I want to get rid of all of the different shades and hue of lights that we have in this picture. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of them, from red to cyan to green, yellow, orange and purple and what have you. So what I want to do here is try to go for that look where we have only two hues that are opposing to one another, so that we can increase the contrast in our scene and in our photo. And perhaps we can also get rid of all the distractions due to all of these different hues of colors that are not really working well together. So in order to do that, I'm gonna basically simply shift these sliders all the way to one side so that we polarize the colors towards teal and orange. So let's start with the red primaries. I want the reds in this picture to go towards more orange. So we slide them all the way to the right. Then I want all the yellow that is now in this photo to go towards more orange, and all the blues to go towards more teal. And if you remember what we said in the last video, when you change the blue primary, you are not just changing the blue hue, but you are also changing its complementary. The complementary color of blue is yellow. Therefore, when we shift blue towards teal, the yellow, as a consequence, will shift towards orange. So we go all the way to the left, and as you can see, we have already achieved that teal and orange look. Now we can further get rid of all the colors we don't want by shifting the green primary all the way towards the left, so that we truly have only these two colors in the picture. And as you can see, this made a very big difference. Now the lights are truly the subject of this photo, and they pop much more since they have this color contrast that helps the subject to stand out. Let's do a bunch of before and afters before we move on to the next photo. And here I would say let's move on with this one. And here we have a chamois, or I believe chamois for the American people. And basically here what I want to achieve with this picture is just to have the subject stand out more from the grass that is around him. As you can see, the hues of the grass and the animal are kind of similar, so the subject is not really standing out, and I think we can help this with a little bit of color shifting to have more color contrast and therefore have our subject more prominent in the picture. So in order to do this, I will just shift the hue of the green towards more aqua, so that the greens become colder, and as a consequence, remember, green is the opposite color of magenta, so we have also shifted the fur of the animal a little bit towards more orange-red look, and now the color contrast between the grass and the animal is much stronger than before, as you can see from the before and after. And without increasing the contrast of the image, we have actually increased the contrast of the colors. Our subject is already able to stand out quite a lot better. And one thing that I would probably do now is to increase a little bit the saturation so that this effect is even more prominent. And that's really all I wanted to do. I simply changed one single slider. Since here in this picture we really had the two complementary color, green and red, I was able to do this with just one slider and then just increasing a little bit saturation, and we have achieved this nice color harmony. Now let's move on to the next picture. And we have this wonderful puffin here, and I would like to recreate one of the color harmony to make the subject stand out a little bit better. And I don't really like this green of the grass and this blue on the sky. They don't really work well together in my opinion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shift the hue of the grass towards more orange and yellow, so that it will work better with the blue of the sky, and we will also be able to get back some of that color from the sky. So here I'm gonna shift the hue of the blue primary all the way towards teal, so that the yellow, again, that is the complementary color, is going to shift towards more orange, and then the greens as well towards yellow, so that we get that nice yellow autumn color here in the grass. And as you can see, as a consequence, we have also got back some of the cyan from the sky. Here we could potentially make this contrast even stronger by moving the red primary, but I decided not to do here just because the beak of the puffin is also red, and if we shift the hue of the red, that's gonna change massively, and I don't want to alter the feature of the subject of the photo, especially when it's an animal where the colors of the beak are kind of defined, so you know what kind of color that beak should have. You're not supposed to change that. All right, so that was it for the puffin. Again, just few sliders moved around, and look at the result. This is before and this is the after. I think now these colors work much better. We have this pastel kind of feeling that I truly love for this picture. Then moving on, we can go to this wonderful sunset, where actually my camera was not really capable of catching the red and the pinks in the sky, and I really want to bring that back by using the calibration tool. This is gonna be super easy. So what I'm gonna do is shift the hue of the yellows in the sky towards more orange, and then also with the green slider I can add a little bit of yellow in the scene, just like that, and perhaps a little more orange will also make this sunset even stronger, and a bit more green as well. And I think we can also crank up a little bit the saturation, and let's perhaps also add a little bit of orange, not too much. Actually, I don't like that here. I would probably just use the blue primary to add a little bit more orange and yellow. And so by just moving these two sliders to the left, we have been able to get back some of that color that is typical from a sunset scene. And as you can see, at the beginning we had a really flat light, a really flat color in the sky, and by doing this we have been able to get back some of that color in a very natural way. As you can see, the hue of the sky has barely changed, and we have just really added a little bit of orange in the clouds, and that looks totally natural. Now moving on to another example of when you can use this tool. I've shot this picture inside a chapel in Paris, and As you can see, there is quite a lot of color cast, there is a lot of magenta color cast on this picture, mainly because the sun was coming through these very colorful windows, but it basically changed completely the color of the scene. This year it's supposed to be gold, but here it looks more like bronze or copper. So in order to bring back some of that color, we can use again the calibration tool. And this time I want to shift the greens. Since there is a lot of magenta, let's see if by moving the slider towards more yellow, I can get back some of the yellow there and get rid of some magenta, and then perhaps also move the slider of the red to a bit more towards orange, just a tiny bit. And then let's also remove some of the orange from that color with the blue slider, something like that, and there you have it. Now we have been able to fix the color of the statue, and we got back that color that was actually there in the scene. As a result, some of the colors of the glass actually changed, and if it changed too much, you can consider to go in Photoshop and then bring back this glass with a mask or something like that. Or if actually the color has changed because of also of the color cast, then maybe you can decide to leave it like that. This was another way of using the calibration tool, basically to correct a hue that got kind of messed up because of the light situation in the scene. And so I hope that that's now another tool you have in your tool belt that you can use in case you also have such color cast in your pictures. Let's do a before and after, before and after, before and after. As you can see now, the gold is back. All right, moving on, let's go to this picture here. I've chosen this photo just because when I shot this image, I really didn't think like this image could work in any way. It felt super boring, and there was basically nothing that caught my attention. I don't even know why I shot it, honestly. But then I said, yeah, let's use it to play a little bit with the calibration tool and see what we can get out of this image. Maybe there is some kind of green combination that I can use. That would be really cool to try with such an image. And so the first thing that I did actually, since I discovered by looking at the picture that there were quite a lot of hues in this image. As you can see, there is green, there is cyan, there is a little bit of magenta, some purple, and a little bit of yellow. And then I said, yeah, let's see these colors as they truly are. So I cranked up the saturation slider of all the red, green and blue primaries, and then this happened. And since this is completely oversaturated picture, and this is not really pleasing to the eye. But then I realized, wait a minute, let's see if I can create some color contrast with the calibration tool. And then I moved the blue primary slider all the way towards the left, and this gave me already a much better looking picture, and the colors kind of work together already and create this nice color harmony with this deep blue, green and this nice orange in the scene. And then I said, you know what, let's try to move also the green primary all the way to the left to increase the yellow in the scene, and then the red primary all the way towards the left so that I can get also some of the green back. And so what we have achieved here is a completely new scene that has nothing to do with what we started from, but that truly shows you the power of this tool. And the fact that we can change color in such a way without having them ruined or broken because of the hue shift, that's just amazing. And so just to show you where we started from, this is the before and this is the after. I'm just truly amazed with what this tool can do. It's every time I try a new different set of colors, it always takes my breath away, and I don't know, this is just unbelievable. All right, moving on to the next photo, and here we have this shot from the Fanal Forest in Madeira. Here I was going for a completely different look. So here I want the least amount of color so that my eye is not distracted, and I want to give the impression to the viewer that this forest is almost dead. So I feel like there is no color, nothing. So I really want to get rid of this orange down here and a little bit of brown color that is all the way here in the foreground. And in order to do that, I don't need to do anything else than just get rid of orange. So let's move on the blue slider all the way to the right, not all the way, but quite a bit to the right, and then also perhaps reduce a little bit the saturation to make this grass feel a bit more dead. And now it really looks kind of a creepy scene, right? And that's exactly what I was going for, because when you are in that forest, it looks almost like you are going to be attacked by zombies. All right, that was it for this image. Let's see a before and after. Before and after, a slight change, but it truly brings the point home. And especially now, the foreground is not anymore distracting. The subject of the image is clearly the tree, and we don't want to look at anything else rather than the tree. Then moving on to the last image, here we have this lovely couple of dolphins that I also shot in Madeira. And here I just basically want to use the calibration tool to get back some of the color of the ocean. So here I just want to simply shift the hue of the blue a little bit towards the left, and then the orange, the red primary a little bit more towards the right, so that I can get back some of that color. I think now it's a bit too much saturation in it, so I can dial it down just a little bit. And I mean, here there is no right or wrong, right? This is just a matter of taste. If you like the water in a slightly different hue, you can do that in the way you like it with this calibration tool. Here again, I'm just trying to give you some examples so that you understand what you can actually do with this calibration tool. And this was really the last example I had for today. I hope I gave you enough to really understand how this calibration tool works and what you can do with it. And that's basically it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you were already using the calibration tool. Give this video a like if you liked it, and consider to subscribe if you want to see more.